Good morning and welcome to a brand new day on Ways Breakfast hashtag. What are you saying? It's always a pleasure to spend these early hours with you, sharing stories, laughter, and of course, the conversation that gets us all thinking. Now, today's topic is one that has been buzzing online, and it might just surprise you. It's not politics, not the economy, but nails. Yes, nails. Believe it or not, a simple debate about bare or blank nails has sparked a much bigger conversation about beauty standards. Some people say bare nails look dirty, while others insist that natural is still the truest form of beauty. So it's got us asking this morning, is natural still beautiful? Or have we gotten so used to enhancements that we can't see beauty in its simplest form anymore? I'm curious already, and I know my ladies have a lot to say on this table. So let's dive right in and get to meet the girls, Chioma Kalu and Goodness Ideham.
Morning.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
It's a cold morning, right?
It is. Oh my
honestly.
God. I was freezing coming here.
You know, I was thinking yesterday night that the amount of hot water I have used to have my bath this year alone has been, mind-blowing. Before now, I used to have this ideology that you don't always use hot water to bath as a young person.
So it doesn't
It's not
cause
good.
wrinkles.
Exactly, it's not good for your skin. And I didn't used to do that. I was okay with cold water. But this
Yeah,
year,
me too.
I couldn't. Every time I wake up, I'm like, I can't put this water on my body. So I'm always thinking of boiling water, heating up water to have my bath. And I'm wondering why. I don't know what has happened to our ozone layer, what they used to call it, the climate, the atmosphere. I think something is really happening because it gets very cold in the morning, then there's just a mixture of it in the afternoon and evening. But away from me, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. Woke up in high spirit.
I can see that the red says it. How about you, Goodness? Goodness just staring at me like, who is this girl? Are you just seeing me for the first time, Goodness?
I think so.
Well, how are you today? What's the highlight of your day today? What do you plan? What do you plan to do after the show?
After the show,
Yes.
as usual now.
What's as
As
usual?
usual. I'm very
Go
curious
to
to know this.
my mama and papa house.
My dear, it's very needed though.
I
Anyways,
know.
I saw something online and I wanted to pick your brain on it. So it's about receiving gifts and the idea of loans. So there was this philosopher that came out, he was on a podcast and said that there is actually nothing that is free in this life. That even when people extend grace to you, extend any favor of any sort to you, that there is always a time that you're going to pay it back. That means you're always going to be indebted to people even when they offer you good things and all of that. And I had that somewhere in my mind. And then over the weekend, we know the popular celebrity Tomike Adeoye. She celebrated her birthday, and it was magnificent. You need to see how people were celebrating her. Her friends planned a surprise party, and the comments are, for that particular celebration was that she has been a very good person. So I remember when Vicky James was even going to do her own birthday.
Yeah.
If
And
she
she
needed
was
to see how she
everywhere.
was all out for all of her friends that celebrated her, she had always been all out for them. So it now made sense that yes, when you help someone, there's just this thing in your mind that I have to repay back, whether or not you have the means, whether or not it was in your plan, and all of them like, this thing actually does make sense. So there's nothing free in this life. Somebody offers you 1,000 naira. They are not expecting in that sense that you will pay them back, but the universe expects that you should be indebted to them one way or the other. What do you think about that story and the
I
recent
think I
trend?
agree. I agree with that because nothing is free, even in Freetown.
Is there a place like Freetown?
There's nothing free because, like you said, you held. Let's say we were in school together, and then maybe one day, one of these sessions, I paid your tuition. Do you know? 20 years from then, my son might need something, and maybe your son is in the position to give me. I can say, call so person's son. He owes me a favor.
True.
Do you understand? So you pay it forward. It might not be immediately. So even though this guy, John C. Maxwell, the leadership coach, he usually says when you're rendering help with the mindset of receiving help, you're not doing it right.
But that's what we're,
But
the
that's
conversation
exactly, that's
we're
what it
having,
is.
That
That's
you
what
can't
it is.
render help without expecting to receive help. Because
I think
in fact, people who receive help are receiving help because they plan to render it. So I think it's so transactional that even that mindset of just giving without expecting is already well. But this is a conversation for another day.
Okay.
Let's take a break, right? Our audience, you can let us know what you think about what we just discussed for our little banter. When we come back from this short break, we'll look through the papers this morning. So please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back, our valued viewers. What are your thoughts on this historical milestones? I'd love to hear your insight and perspectives. Our phone lines are open. Please call us on 0702 500-7749 or 0701 424-2420, and our YouTube channel is at Official Upgrade TV. So please click the subscribe button and be part of what we do here. Let's take a look at the papers this morning. We have The Guardian, we have The Punch, and The Daily Trust, and Chioma Kalu would lead us with The Punch newspaper.
All right, looking at stories making headlines in Punch. Makinde, others to fight for PDP ticket. Party zones 2027 ticket to the south, that's PDP now. Obi may consider PDP return, says Obedience.
Interesting.
APC insists opposition will lose in 2027. You know, some time ago, APC called the ADC coalition. He said they are united by a common hater. It was very funny. Moving on, ECOWAS to raise $2.5 billion for 260,000-man counter-terrorism force. You know, we spoke about this yesterday where they said we spend so much money but
yes.
still.
We don't see the impact.
Military retirees demand pay raise, national honors. Despite FG's promise, Ekiti, Ondo federal roads still impassable. And my story of interest, NANS vow critical assets shut down over ASU strike. You know, ASU has told us they are going on strike.
I think today is supposed to be their protest.
And then remember that the federal government came out the other day and said, oh, we have a loan initiative for them.
Yeah.
For tertiary. ASU has said that is badadash. ASU said, you people cannot be treating us like goats. Do you understand? We're asking, part of our demands is the release of unpaid salaries. You're owing us. And yet you're giving us, don't worry, I'm owing you, but you can come and take loan. No? Make it make sense. Make it make sense, really. Why do we have to? Why do we have to go through this?
To pay me what
exactly.
You're owing, how are you giving the loan
Where are you
from?
getting the loan from?
Interesting.
Let's not even talk about the fact that education has just 7.3% in the whole of 2025 budget. The remaining, where are they going to?
Aviation.
What? I'm just saying, right? Instead of giving these people these loans, pay them their salary. These people have families. Now, NANS have decided that, oh, if ASU should go on strike, we too are going to protest because we, the children of the poor masses that are in these federal schools, are the ones that get the brunt of the whole issue. You see, because I'm telling you, this set of people, I read human anatomy in school. My friends that were in medicine. Do you know that some of us finished masters and they were still doing medicine? It's crazy. Because of ASU strike. It doesn't make sense. Can we just feed ASU? You know? And ASU said they are tired of these government delays. And they called it, when they are tired, they will stop talking. Something like that. So they're just making a caricature of the whole union, right? And I feel like this time around, don't call it up. Well, do I have siblings in school? Yes, I do. Call it off. But please, I call on the federal government. They should really do something for these people because it's not funny. Nigerian economy is not good. And these people are trying to make a legal daily bread. So imagine when, now you know why some parents don't caution their children when they go and do Yahoo. Because somebody has to be breadwinner somehow. You know?
You know, this story, it is really heartbreaking because
It is.
I have been at the center of the impacts of strike as in
I know.
student level. Currently, University of Lagos, they're writing their examinations and they had to move today's paper to the 1st of September. Some other faculties that, you know, have their papers earlier have signed out already, and there are some students that now have to hold on because of this whole striking. Now, strike or protest during periods of examination is one of the worst things that can happen to a student because at the point of examination, you're already tense, you're thinking of a number of things. So having to have inconsistency with the timing can just mess up your whole system and even the outputs of your grades at the end of the day. Which would be your grades at the end of the day. So I don't know how we can really come to a consensus. We need to really look into this sector critically.
At the same
2026 budget, what is going to be for education?
So at the same time, you also need to also blame ASU because this is not the first time government have been owing them, you know, salaries, right? ASU strike had been like an onset from the, let me just use the word, from the beginnings, right? So why is it that whenever, since how many years ago, even when I was in school, we've had ASU had to delay me for like 2 years extra, right? So this thing had been like a lingering issue that once they feed ASU crumbs, right, they accept it. Once they feed them crumbs, they accept it. And they die down. They forget about everything. So when they are hungry again, they come back.
Because if they don't
Yes.
accept that crumbs, you will
You
still
still be
be
in
studying
school.
that
That's the issue. That's why we still keep on having them coming up again that, oh, they want to have strike, they want to go on strike, they want to go on strike. There should be an issue that they need to sort out once and for all. If it's that, okay, it's going to take a year for the government to answer that, I'm sure, of course, it might not take a year, but if it's like that, you should
How
fight
sure are
it
you
once.
to not take a year?
We have had
If it's
strike
going
for
to
6 months, 8 months.
I
8
know,
months.
that's what I'm saying.
equivalent
If it's going
to
to
a
take a
year.
year, let it take a year. Then parents too will also interfere in this. Then let it be sorted. Because if they keep on feeding on the crumbs, right? Next year will come, they will still say they want to go on strike. Next 2 years will come, it will never end.
I understand your point,
I
goodness.
do.
But that
That's just it.
crumbs is what helped us some
of
four-year
us
courses to
graduate,
end at
yes.
6. Because if they really wanted to stay through, many people would still be in school today.
And that's why
So
they
at the end
say
of the
that
day,
those
they are still
people
even trying to be
clamoring for
humane
it.
and allow the educational system to still go
Yeah.
normal. But it's still telling on them. At this point, they are the brunt of everything.
I
Let's
heard a
see-
lecturer
okay.
say, sorry, a lecturer said these days in universities, examination is no longer the true test of knowledge.
Yeah,
And
of
I
course.
agree. Because of this whole thing. Imagine coming back, they call you after ASU strike of 6 months and you were supposed to write the exam. Now come now, they say exam is starting that Monday. How far?
It's honestly sad. But let's take one story from
Okay,
the Daily Trust.
From the Daily Trust, we'll take just quickly 2 stories. Federal government issued, that's below the masthead. Federal government issues fresh flood alert to 9 northern states. Yeah, we're already in the season, and last time I think we read one of the government officials says that if possible, some people will be drinking shit water, right, because of the flood. Now it has gotten
Have
to
they
the
sent the people
northern
from
states.
Lekki away?
And Ikorodu.
So
They are still there.
not just in Lagos now, but in northern states, we have several states like that of we have Bokani, we have Jigawa, we have Gombe, we have Bauchi, we have Kano, we have Katsina, and some other states, that need to also work on it. I'm also calling on the federal, the governors there to also look for something to do concerning those areas. And another story I'll just quickly talk on is this: residents flee as bandits attack Niger and Kwara states. This reminds me of a few days ago, there was also a bandit attack along this Auchi-Akure road, where we even saw one of the influential person on social media,
Yeah.
very dark man, that rescued one man
Yeah, I
like
did-
that
I saw that
that
video.
was shot down. And unfortunately, they couldn't get the bandits. And unfortunately, 2 of our students were also among those people that actually were taken by the bandits. And here we're also having it again. That's another bandit attack in Niger State and Kwara State. So it's actually showing that there is this decadence in Nigerian security. So I really want to really also plead at the same time for the federal government, the police, the head of police, the Inspector General of Police, and also even military officers, that they should really look into this, because the security, the lives of people are at risk. I read in the story, if you want to read the story further, you can get it in page 5, where a particular man spoke that he had to run 20 kilometers away with his wife that was 7 months pregnant
Oh my
in
God.
this. So imagine how people have to our people's lives are at risk because of they are living in a certain country and they are not feeling, they're not feeling safe anymore. 2 children was also children were not even 2, more than 2 were also taken away in this process when they came to attack. Their cattle and everything were made off with. So please.
Sad story again, and I think the Punch doesn't have any better, still same old sad stories that we have, but I'll just quickly talk on the one that has to do with what the NDLEA recently did. They arrested an alleged 55-year-old drug kingpin, that's Mohammed Ali Abubakar, also known as Bello Karama, and 5 members of his syndicate at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano. So apparently this particular arrest was needed because it helped vindicate certain Nigerians that had been accosted because they were, alleged to have, trafficked drugs and all of that. And what this story reminds me of is how far, how terrible wrong vindications can be in our country. Recently, I think I saw it on the news, how a 12-year-old boy stayed in prison for 10 good years. 12 years old.
In Nigeria?
Yes, Nigeria. In prison for 10 good years.
So he was 22.
He's 22
He's 22
now.
currently.
Yes, and he was just released, right, because a lawyer stepped into the case. I think it was even Jay on air. I watched the video on his podcast, the one he does on radio. It was quite, I saw the image of this young boy, very young boy. He was looking very skinny.
What was his offense?
So I didn't truly get the whole story, but it was still wrong
12.
vindication. I think it was about theft or something.
Because we have juvenile, punishment.
Exactly. So a number of the stories just get, swept under the carpet. People don't even go after them. Thankfully, that human rights activist or the lawyer who took it upon himself, I think that's what they call pro bono, because who would have paid you for that? And that young boy still has a future ahead of him. And this one has to do with some Nigerians that were intercepted because they felt like they were the ones in this whole drug stuff. But thankfully, they've arrested the people in charge of this. And I think this is a bit of good news. And kudos to the NDLEA. I think they've been working really hard these days around the clock to bring a number of people to book, but it can be better. Always. It can always be better. And going back to the security story again, like we said yesterday, our guest told us guerrilla war. And I was asking, guerrilla war is not what Nigerians want to hear. It's not what that man and his 7-month-old wife wants to hear. We need to be safe. When you're in a country, the first thing you expect from your country is security. To be safe, the basic needs, shelter. I just want to be safe. I'm not asking for too much. And honestly, I think that this should be looked into. The education sector as well. I mean, my condolences to students in school at this point writing the examination and having to come to a halt because of protests and everything. But I think my call to students at this point should be not to panic, actually. Still continue studying, still continue preparing for your examination. Don't let it get to you because I know what it means to get to you and you not feel like, that's
why they are giving rooms to you, all these quack, private institutions now where they'll just come and subsidize money. After all, they can pay or give them a particular payment plan.
Honestly. All right, this is where we would wrap up this segment. Our hot topic today is quite interesting as well. It's going to spark a number of reactions from Chiamaka, Goodness Ide, and myself. And you do not want to miss anything at all. So please stay with us. We'll be right back after the short break.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we'll connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
Welcome back, our valued viewers. Our topic today has been titled, Is Natural Still Beautiful? The social bias against blank or bare news. In today's world, beauty standards are constantly shifting, shaped by culture, media, and even economics. One small but powerful debate currently trending online is about nails. Many argue that bare or natural nails look dirty, while others say it's the truest form of beauty and self-expression. And this has sparked bigger questions. Who sets these standards? Why does done often mean beautiful, while natural can sometimes be seen as less? Beyond the aesthetics, nails have become a symbol of class, status, personal care, and even cultural identity. In Nigeria and around the world, what we call beautiful is not just about looks. It's about social perception, economy, and even psychology. So today we're asking, is natural still beautiful? Or are we trapped in the cycle of beauty expectations where only enhanced is celebrated? And of course, I'll be having this conversation with my wonderful, beautifully, naturally, or naturally beautiful ladies, Chamakalu and Goodness in there. So this conversation is quite funny. I almost was going to skip it. Like, they've already talked about it a lot on air. I mean, not on air. Social media. I mean, a lot of social commentators like Solomon Buchi, Ife. What's her second name again? I always forget it. Diary of a Niger Girl. They've spoken about this whole thing. And when I first saw the tweet, I saw the original tweet at first when somebody said, if a girl doesn't have natural nails, or if she doesn't fix her nails, she appears to be dirty. I'm like, in fact, that's, if I don't even know how to start this conversation because it's a disgusting thing to hear, but it begs the bigger question of what we now, call beauty. Do you understand? So my first question to both of us, to all of us here, pardon me, is in Nigerian culture and history, beauty wasn't always tied to enhancement like nails, makeup, or wigs. So why do we now see that cultural shift where we now equate bare with dirty? Where did it start from?
I think it's an influence from, an urban lifestyle influence. Something, we're always taking from the West. We're always taking from the West. As Africans, we used to have our own definition of beauty.
Yeah.
We had tribal marks was a sign of beauty at some point.
I'm glad I didn't see that beauty.
Me neither. You see, beads were signs of beauty. Sometimes even the wrapper you wear was a sign of beauty. So I think bringing it down to this nail and stuff, these are borrowed, beauty enhancements, really.
Well, for me, pardon me, I think, like she has said, from the West, but it also goes beyond that. If you look at all these things, it was something that's gradually crept into our culture, like our daily living in Nigeria. So this old nail thing really came from like the European culture, and that's why we have back in the days, you see people don't really appreciate their natural hair, that's their kinky hair. They all want to go straight to straighten out their hair, and they just want to like imitate the physical outlook of the European people, even to the extent of contact lenses. Then these contact lenses also came from the aspect of the European, because we see some European, they have this like dark blue, brownish kind of contact, like your contact, what do you even used to call it?
Contact lens.
Yes, contact lens. So because of that, Nigerians, we are always, everything is always probably black or brown. So we want to imitate, we see it as beauty, right? We appreciate it, and we want to adapt that into our own way of living. And that's where even contact lenses came about that. Okay, you see some, they have green and greenish or blue and everything. Lenses. So it's like, from when I read it, right, it's like an historical stuff where before colonization, like she said, we appreciate beauty in tribal marks and everything. But when we met colonization, we saw ourselves back then as inferior. Like when you have your natural hair, you saw it as unkempt. Right, because of the kinky, how it switched around. So we see it as unkempt. We want to look like those European styles. They're always looking sleek. Even the Asian girls, you see how the poppy cheeks and everything. We just want to imitate that. So I think in a way from far back, it was as a way of replacing our inferiority complex of our physical outlook, right, to gain either confidence or, you know, this kind of prettiness we want to have.
I like how you mentioned inferiority complex, because I once heard someone say that the problem, pardon me, of many Africans and even Nigerians, sometimes they can mask it in overconfidence, but it's the fact that they are actually having terrible esteem issues. Inferiority complex is like a very major problem for people. So the way they mask it is by trying to overcompensate, in the sense that, let me appear like I'm this, but deep down, you really are not confident with yourself. Do you understand? So I like the fact that you went back to the olden times where, you know, beauty standards were with tribal marks. I think I once saw a picture. I don't know if you've seen, I don't know which tribe it is in Africa, but their own beauty standards, in fact, is very extreme. There's this very circular, I don't know what it's called, that they put in between.
They put in their ears too.
The Kenyans.
I think it's Kenya also.
Yes, the Kenyans.
Very, very strange looking beauty standards.
They still do it now.
They still do it, and it varies. Some people, I think it's their lashes or their brows, is the way it is carved to show that you are a beautiful lady. In fact, at some point, I think the Easterners, some of them had to start, you know, putting this dotted mark to indicate that you look beauty and you look different. But this conversation now is about nails, and I think that for somebody to pick out nails, it is beyond nails, because let's even look at it. I'm currently on nails right now. I don't want to show my viewers if they can see.
I'm not currently on nails.
I think Choma is currently on nails as well. Now the nails I am currently on is gel polish nails, because with these same nails where we get, pardon my parlance this morning, there's still the categorization.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There is the press-on. I can tell you the price of press-on. With 1,500 you will get press-on. But if you want to get good acrylic nails, I think it's about 25,000, 18,000. So there are different categories. I won't tell you how much mine is, but just guess.
Even the gel has different categories.
The gel has different categories as well. So when that person said this is termed as, you know, dirty, my thought actually was about the economic implication of it. Do you understand? Like, are you trying to really segregate the different females we have? Because sometimes there are events you go for. I mean, I started hosting recently, and when I'm speaking to some people about how I want to appear, I think I wanted to just go with my natural nails one time, and it was like, you cannot go with your nails. That in this industry, going with your nails, they won't rate you. And many times, you know, when you shake people firstly, that's what they're looking at. Today, we're even shaking and greeting like the Westerners. When did we start doing?
I'm sorry, coming back to the Western thing. Even the greeting while smelling your perfume, your cologne.
My God, this is becoming tougher. This is really becoming tougher. So my question is, why do you think that, I want to ask, do you think that this stuff rather is like a rejection of the economic class of females in the society? I think it's beyond just saying you are appearing dirty. It's actually placing you in a rank that, see, the truth is that you are not economically, you know, suitable to be in this gathering.
In this class.
What do you have to say about that? Do you think that nails actually equate to someone's economic status, or it's just something to bypass?
It shouldn't. It should not, for me. But I think society makes us forget that we should look beyond all of these things. For instance, look at Mark Zuckerberg. Have you seen the way the guy dresses?
Zuckerberg.
Right? The way he dresses, you can never, if you see him outside, you can never believe that guy has money. When he came to Nigeria, he was walking around in polo and jeans.
Yeah.
Now, bringing it back to the women, right? If I see, I'm very sorry, but the women I admire, the women making waves, they're not bothered by these things. For instance, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, have you ever taken a look at her nails? She doesn't give 2 cents about what you think. But this is a woman making strides, right? So I personally, right, like I say, I love to do my nails. Not out of pressure or out of what society would say. I just like it. In fact, if you see my bare nails, just know that I'm just allowing it to breathe for a time before I go in for another one, right? But that should not decide which class anybody should belong to. In fact, I will call you shallow if that's your determining factor, right?
Okay, how about you, Goodness? What do you have to say? Because there's something I want to comment on as regards to the Mark Zuckerberg, you know, dressing appearance.
The same thing
Well, let's hear
also
Goodness.
goes for me, that fixing or not fixing nails does not have to do with class, right? So whoever is standing on the school of thought that for ladies or for females, if you don't fix your nails, you are dirty, right? I think like what she has said, Chema has said, the person has a shallow mindset, right? It's beyond that. Is it nails that is going to put food on your table? Is it nails that is going to put you out there too?
Actually could.
Actually, it could.
Nails will put
because
food
there's
on
a
your
direction
table.
In
by not going
Nigeria.
to yet.
See, the
That
thing is,
nails can.
the thing is,
can,
it's just the
actually.
society, just like I've said, the society breeds or grooms some culture that we humans in that particular society imbibe into and want to flow according to it. This nails of a thing was not existing before, right?
Yeah.
We saw outside and we brought it in and wanted to do it, and that's why we are now replicating it, and over time it has now, like the society have now normalized it that okay, for every female, oh, if you don't fix nail, that means you're not feminine, you're not, you know, that kind of stuff. Even some men, they'll say, oh, they like ladies fixing nails, right? It turns them on, it does this, it does this. So nails, for me, it's not really compulsory for you to fix nails, right? Just ensure that your nails are well kept and they are neat. That's good for me.
So I was going to say something about that. It could, before we go, pardon me, on a short break. The truth is that, yes, we have mentioned society and society. You mentioned that Mark Zuckerberg has a very conservative appearance. When he goes out, he's on his jean and his T-shirt. But in today's world, where your next contract that will be signed is based on how you look, you know, I think a lot of people have argued about that whole dressing and appearance thing, because maybe that dressing and appearance thing can happen when you have eventually made the money. Because the truth is, if you have not made that money, I will not subscribe that you wear a jean and a T-shirt to go to high-class places. Do you understand? You still have to actually bend to how the society sees things. Because eventually, if we even want to be culture shifters, if we want to shape society, you have to blend in at some point to be able to. I know this is very controversial because people feel like, no, it should be distinct and you can still separate it. But I think it will become tougher in that sense. Look at our space, the media space today. When we come on every morning, it's expected that your face is brightened. Do you know, naturally, I do not want to put anything on my face or on my hair. I want to just appear so natural. But do you know, if I choose to stick to that kind of brand, there are many people that will not even subscribe to your brand. Why? Because you are not appealing to the societal standard of that particular profession.
I like the way you use societal standard.
Yeah, societal standard. So at the end of the day, it's almost like, should we not just even go with this whole society thing? Because I told you, in fact, in the bus one day coming to work, before we go on a short, but I know Chema has something to say. I was just thinking, and I wanted to just get to work on time because I was running late. So there's this anxiety, I won't say anxiety, but this tensed reaction I always do with my hands. I was just rubbing my hands together. Okay. And I noticed that the guy beside me was just staring at me. I was like, waiting, why this person they look me like this? So he was very shy. You know what he did? He now took his phone and typed on his notepad and said, he first said, oh, you look, you smell really nice. I love your perfume and I love your nails. I'm like, my own natural need, I don't do pink. So it shows that he had already rated me from my nails. If I was having bare nails, it probably, this one. Even though you're looking very beautiful. So if you're going to build a particular brand in some industries and sectors, maybe we have to tilt. Exactly, you have to tilt. But now the psychological impact is what I'm looking at. When you now term them dirty or, unkept, is what needs to be dissected. But we'll take a short break. When we come back, I have more questions about the psychological impact of that statement. If you have any comment for us, please, our YouTube page is open for you. We'll be right back shortly.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light from my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Welcome back, our viewers. Today's conversation has had all of us talking. In fact, I almost choked some seconds ago. But I'm back here, and we're looking at, the true definition of beauty, because recently social media has been buzzing with comments from people who seem to, reject natural nails, calling it dirty, calling it classless, honestly, and it's a very terrible word to use. So we have been discussing about how we should even see it holistically, the economic impacts of actually looking a part. Because sometimes maybe dirty, for lack of words, is why she used it. Probably it's even more than that. Probably she's just trying to grade people and like, you are poor, that's why you're not fixing
now.
So dirty was like, let me use dirty, so they will think I'm talking about hygiene. But I seriously think that it was beyond hygiene that she was talking about. But there are still people today, like you've mentioned, the big women, the Okonjo-Iwealas, the older women sometimes, and even some people that are very, very natural. Sometimes, religion plays in how some people adapt this natural look. For example, not to talk down on any, but just what we see, the Deeper Life Bible Mission, many of them, they
Deeper
are very...
Church, not Deeper Life Bible Mission.
Church and mission. It's not the same mission.
Okay.
Okay,
but let's
goodness.
move on.
Okay, goodness. So, if you look at them, one thing that is very clear is how conservative they are. Many of them do not even fix nails. They don't pierce earrings. They are very, very natural. They have fine natural hair. They don't have any extension. And those are people that, because of religious background, they have to be that way. Some other persons is not religious background because they still have other shaka, expressions of their beauty, but they just prefer that nails can be stressful. I would not want it. But do you think statements like this can actually affect the confidence and the esteem of these people? Because this statement was made online. I know sometimes you think online messages do not affect you until you are alone with your family. I told you on Monday, I had moments where I was alone and I was so in my thoughts and feelings. Everything that had been seen from January started playing. I was like, oh, is this me? Is this not me? So that means at some point it's going to actually tell on you. So what do you have to say about women whose confidence can be affected because of statements like this?
Confidence?
Confidence, goodness.
Well, for me, I feel that, first of all, you need to just work with your mindset, right? You shouldn't allow what the societal terrain is going on should affect you, right? Do you, just be natural. The only thing is, you know that when you're going for some certain functions, right, they expect you to do like this. And even if you want to find yourself in that function, fine, you can just be moderate. That's why I'll call it moderation form. So if you want to even fix your nail, not until you fix these claws, I'll call them eagle claws, ABBA. So if you just...
close to na brand.
It's brand now for some people in some certain places, right? So
I think it's called Cardi B nails. Yeah, that's what it's called. Those claw-like nails.
Yeah, so for people that are not really into it, right, and they just want to go for a certain function and don't want to feel left out, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
They can go for shorter nails, like very short, like your normal fingernails. Go for short for it. And also as well, if you don't even want to go, I feel if you focus more on your dressing, right? The dresses, like I read about a place somewhere online that there are some certain color of dresses that suit your skin that will bring you out. So if you know you're probably like dark skin or caramel, there are some certain color of clothes you should put on that will put you out there, right? So people might not even take a really want to take a glance on your nails. The first thing is, okay, your face, your hair, your dress.
I think they say the first thing they look at when you step somewhere is your shoes. That's true.
It's also true. So you can invest in that. Like, read about colors that align with your skin, your skin tone that will bring you out, as well as hairstyles that will suit you, your shape of your face. Like, there's so many things when it comes to beauty. Your shape of your face determines what kind of hairstyle that will bring your beauty out. Then if you just want to, apply a little color on your lips, your eyebrow, and your shoes, you're good to go. Carry your, your clutch bag and everything. My
Okay.
dear, you are
I
fine.
didn't know that.
Me,
Yeah.
I'm not fixing nails, so, and I'm a pretty girl.
Obviously, I like the energy. How about you, Chema?
I actually feel like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, right? Even the people who are trying to please don't care, right? Okay, so yes, when you're going to some certain places, you have to look the part, definitely. But we as Africans, we are beginning to lose ourselves in the quest to be like these people, right? I'm going to cite, I went somewhere, and this is like a gathering of not just Nigerians, okay? If I'm more of those Western guys, I made sure that every outfit I wore there was African prints. I made sure. I got raffia earrings. I made sure I was an African woman. I braided my hair, right? And a lot of people were going all English and all. I said, me, I will sell my own market. People think. And then you see these white people come to you. Oh my God, I love your braids. Where did you get your earrings? One of my facilitators asked me for this earring till I was done with that training I went for.
Yes.
You know? And I feel like we need to embrace our style more.
Yes.
Right? Psychologically, if you let these things get to you, you will hang yourself. It will lead you to stealing.
Yes.
It will lead you to so many vices you don't imagine yourself doing.
Covetousness.
Yes. It will lead you to debt. Because you see people taking loans for these things. You see people say, okay, make I just do them. Later I go balance
When they pay me the money,
Hey.
I go give you cost.
You don't need to put, I don't put pressure on myself. Because you see, owing somebody gives me palpitations. I will not rest. I'll be very restless, right? So why would I want to subject myself to that? So I feel like, and beauty, natural beauty, okay, go to the nails now. Why don't we call men that don't fix nails? Why don't we call them dirty? Why is it the woman?
Because the woman's beauty standard is higher. There's
Oh,
a
please.
whole lot expected from the woman. Have you not seen this stereotype that an Igbo man can just wear his shirt, his trouser, and
His
palm
leggings,
slippers, yellow skinny
And
jeans.
purse.
Exactly, and palm slippers. But if you check the wife, the judge is tiny.
Hollandaise.
A Hollandaise, I like that. So sometimes the focus is not really on the men.
It's really...
But I like the angle both of you have
Yeah.
brought. So you started with your experience in a very large gathering that had Africans and non-Africans.
Yeah.
And I remember these quotes from someone that said, you cannot be more English
than the English
Englishman."
people. I'm telling
You can't be in your accent, in
You
your
can't.
dressing, in everything. I don't know if you saw this trend on TikTok. There, this trend of people that have long hair, women that have long hair.
Yeah.
So they will put their hair by this side and say, when I want to cry, I flip my hair the other way. So you see the hair drop in a very luscious manner. So this African girl with her afro like mine wanted to do the trend. Though it was very comical. So she now put her head like this. This hair, no, they drop. It was so funny. But I love what somebody on the comment section said. She said that your crown was
Yeah.
never meant to fall.
Period.
Word. I like it. So it just shows that Africans, if we begin to embrace...
Yes.
Let me give you a perfect example of an African that embraces our culture and our looks and is so pristine for it. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
Period. Look at her hair.
Her hair is so beautiful. Recently, I think it was the last Met Gala. She was one of the people that
Yeah.
attended, and I could see the African regal
I love
nature
it. I
in her.
love it, really.
You really can't be more English than the English. The English people want to even see the African in you.
Yes.
That's why they came to you and you're like, oh my God,
I-
what do you
also
I
even
made
like
sure.
our culture.
I made sure on that training. I didn't want to wear a wig. I said no. Let's show an African braid.
Yes.
You needed to see Arabians come to me. How can I get my hair done like this? I said, oh, come to Nigeria.
You can't get your hair done like this. It's only half that to have it. But honestly, very beautiful conversation. And then going back to what you said about grooming, because I also want to look at the hygienic part of it. There's a way you can be African and the way your look is still appears to be somewhat ras in that sense. That's why sometimes it's like, if you want to have that perfect clean girl aesthetic look, this is not what we are going for. We need it to be properly kept. So I'm even talking about these nails. I mean, some people have even come out to say that this nail stuff actually have some health implications. For example, the UV, what's it called?
Also
UV
can
lightning
cause
stuff.
cancer.
Exactly. I think last time I had to do my...
Aside even the UV stuff, even when you're fixing him, there's some people, right?
Yeah.
Like for me now, you might have wonder why do I really not like fixing nails? My fingernails, right, are very
Yes.
brittle. They are very, very fragile.
can
So
see
the
them.
first time I tried fixing nails, See, I don't even, my fingernails were really breaking.
Yeah.
And I was already even having bruises. So since then, I just stopped it, right? So nails are really not meant for everybody.
Yes.
Right.
So fixing of nails too, what they even used to call it, the paint they used to add on it, and
The
even
gel paint or the
yes, and even
powder.
the one you used to remove also causes some certain things. You see that your nail starts getting tiny and starting to start breaking. So I feel that one too also causes that. And before you notice, in no time, you also get to see that your nails are getting dry.
Yes.
So that's also one of the implications of having it. Then discoloration. You see some people's fingernails already like yellowish, that kind of stuff. So that's
I
also
had
one
a friend
of
at
the
a
reasons.
point that had to stop fixing her nails. She was not growing her natural nails. She said that I've damaged my nails so much. So eventually, even when we're trying to meet up to a particular standard,
You're
we
causing
end
health
up
hazards.
exactly
Yeah.
harming ourselves. But about this nail stuff, one grooming thing I think we should note as well is the palm, like this back area of your hands. There's a way you can have natural nails that are very cut. That are very short, pardon me, like very short. But the way your hand, the color of your hand and everything, it just blends properly. So some people feel like exfoliation or taking care of your skin is just your face and your body. Well, there's a way you can do for the back of your palms like this, and even if you just put oil,
Yes,
not a type, literally, or anything, it's shining, it's looking very neat and
It
presentable.
makes it soft. So when people shake you, you move them from, oh, your nails are beautiful, to, oh my God, you have
Your
really
hand-
soft
so you can
hands.
distract them.
Exactly.
If I don't fix my nails, I can shake
But
you
with
instead.
this your
So you
laughter
feel
is
the supple-
suspicious.
the
My
supple-
what?
Your laughter.
Well,
She's
I've done
before.
it a bit, you
She's
know.
done it before. All right, so as we begin to wrap up this conversation, let's even talk about this whole identity and authenticity thing. We are
Yeah.
talking about this whole African thing, but there's still some people that do not feel so authentic. Like their brand has been so woven around the Western kind of beauty standards. And that's why sometimes their look, their dresses, they're always on corporate. I know people that they can't do without corporate. I used to be that kind of girl. I mean, I think I still am. I love the corporate look. I'm really not the African Prince girl look, except you turn it into corporate. Then, okay, it's now making a bit of sense. And some people have said that I'm just trying to be authentic. This is who I am. This is the kind of style I'm comfortable with. So do you think that you can be African, right, still embracing your African roots, but I mean balancing it with a bit of Westernism in it and still claim authentic? What do you think before we wrap up the segment?
So I think you can, but we should also understand that, these enhancements, they can unify trends, of course. They can make you look better
Yes.
society-wise. But you should also understand that too much of it, you risk losing yourself for who you are. So, like you said, create a balance. Know where to draw the line. Don't do and pass yourself. You can't be more English than the Englishman.
What about in the workplace?
Oh, in the workplace, you see
the
some
workplace
people.
African thing doesn't sell
Yes,
as much.
yes, and I think I've seen workspaces where maybe the HR would want the ladies to maybe have nails, even if short and all. I think it's in the part of trying to not have any staff look tacky,
So
because
that means African is tacky.
it's not tacky. No, some people are
is not
naturally not clean. Do you understand?
So African
when you
aesthetic, let me get this. African aesthetic has a tendency to make you unclean.
yes,
Yeah.
when you don't put it right, yes.
For instance, you don't comb your hair and you know you
For
have
instance,
Why you
kinky
look at my
hair.
hair?
Okay, let's leave this.
No, that's
Another thing is, I'm going to use your hair. I'm so
Don't
sorry.
you? I would not
I'm
take
so
that.
sorry.
Justice.
I will not.
So, okay, our hairs, right? When let's say our forefathers will give you, I don't know if you know this oil from palm kernel.
Palm kernel oil.
Palm kernel oil.
Okay.
It's really healthy for both the skin and hair, but it smells awful. Right? So, imagine you use it.
take that.
You don't use a cologne that would overshadow it, right? And then there's a way you do that thing, it will stain your nail.
And some people will
Do you
even use their
understand?
teeth to cut their fingernails.
Do you understand? So in that workspace, you find out that some of these employers, to ensure professionalism and to give the workspace a facelift, right? They will tell you, oh, do this, look this way, look this. This is what our brand is trying to push. If it doesn't favor you, leave. That's what I think.
It's how you say leave easily. When somebody's, you know how long it took them to get that
then
job?
you would
Say
abide
it
by
doesn't
the
favor you, leave.
rules.
But As we begin to wrap up the show, there's something that is making me think, and I think we're going to revisit this conversation again.
Okay.
How that the African beauty standards or the African aesthetic sometimes is not always checked as neat and clean is a worry for me. It's burdensome because I'm even looking at the workplace, as that example. Sorry, Chama, as that example of that. Of trying to just meet a particular standard. There's a particular work I went for one time, and they didn't want afro. They're like, you have to slip your hair. It has to be neat. I'm like, this is my afro. My crown is not meant to fall, and all of that. But it doesn't apply everywhere. But at the end of the day, this debate about nails isn't really about nails at all. It's about how we define beauty, how society shape our choices, and how much power we give to trends. So whether blank, polished, or acrylic, the real question is, are we confident enough to embrace beauty in all its forms, including the natural? Because true beauty perhaps is less about the polish and more about the person wearing it. And this is where we wrap today's segment. Very interesting. And of course, we have another exciting discussion for you tomorrow. Ensure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and interact with us further. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.